Hey guys, so I was just looking through questions because I was hoping to do an all about me for this video, and one of the questions that I came across was, if you could be any age permanently, what age would you choose to be? And I was thinking, how would I answer this? Because my original thought was, oh, of course 20, even though I've never been 20. It's always, since forever, in my mind at least, it's always seemed like the perfect age. Like, you're young, but you're happy-ish, and you've just finished school, so you can you're free in a way, and you get to just live your own life, you get to start university, you get to make your own path, and you get to really be an individual. Then I thought, no. How about like a 2-3-year-old who doesn't know anything yet? Because nowadays, everyone is so wrapped up in politics and in all the terrible things that are going on in the world. So why not, if you're 2 or 3 years old, you wouldn't be. You'd be innocent, and that innocence was something that I was just like, oh my god, that would be amazing. But then I thought, all those kids nowadays, all these 2-3-year-olds, are completely addicted to their phones, their iPads, whatever they have, and my image of a 2-3-year-old is what I was like when I was 2, or what I assume it was like when I was a 2-3-year-old. Then I went on to think, like, the kids nowadays are growing up so differently to how I grew up, even though it hasn't been that long, but yet they are so different, and their experience, to me it's almost much sadder. I can see to my sister, who's only 5 years younger than me, she's growing up completely addicted to her iPad, and that saddens me. Like, I don't want to live a life like that. I was lucky enough just to be born outside of that generation, I'd call it, but like only by a few years, and I feel like I'm so privileged to not have been brought up, it sounds stupid, but to not have been brought up with these iPads and iPods and iPhones. Like, we have flip phones. I mean, I never had one because I was too young, but that, for me, I still would love a flip phone, which is another video I have to make. And it's just like, I miss the days when I was a child. I miss how that was. I mean, sure, there were political issues, but as a child I didn't know of them, and I miss my days. I don't miss being 2 or 3, because that is now, what that entails is so different to what it entailed when I was a child. And I saw this post recently of like, only 90s kids will remember this, and it was going on about, this is the in-between generation, and it's, you know, we didn't get to experience the fully technological, I can't speak, and we also didn't get to experience the worries of, like, we weren't prepared for what was coming, whereas the adults knew, you know, there's so much future stuff coming on. And we were just the innocent generation. We were never really warned for what was going to happen, and so we were given these amazing nostalgic memories, but we can't go back to them because technology's moved so quickly. 5 years is really not a long time, and yet so much in terms of our childhood has changed within those 5 years. And it probably also has to do with the fact that I was born in Europe, and I was brought up in Europe, and my sister was born in Europe, but she was really brought up here in Australia, and I guess there were some differences in that. But even then, it's such a big difference. It's so... It annoys me. Like, it makes me mad. It makes me sad as well, because it's like, we could have had this, but we've grown too much, and that sucks. Like, people don't realize how lucky we were back in the begin 2000s, because that was the good time, in my opinion. I was a child then, I can't actually remember much, and I don't know if there were big things going on politically, but that was a good time from what I remember. And we've passed that now, and we're all dependent on technology. As a child, I was super independent. I went out without any type of directions, any phone, whatever, because I didn't need it. And nowadays, everyone is hooked on everything, and it really bugs me. It really bugs me. One last point, and then I'll go, because I'm sure this is going to be a long video. My parents are completely dependent on using their phones, on using Google Maps, on these type of things, because they've been given it, but they didn't grow up without it, so they're like completely reliant on it. They're like holding on to it because they've experienced it not having it, and they feel like they need to be reliant on it. The kids who were born within the last 10 years were the same. They were also, they not that they weren't at all, but they were just given it from a young age, and so they were born dependent on it. But then my age group, kind of, was not given it as a child, but then given it slightly after that, and that's when we didn't need it. Well, at least I know there are a lot of people my age who are dependent on it, but personally I'm not dependent on it because I was brought up as a child not being dependent on it, and I was given it and I realized I don't need it. And so even though I do carry my phone around with me for emergencies, because admittedly it is a useful tool and I'm not bashing technology in any way, but I'm not as dependent on it because I was brought up not being dependent on it. Anyway, this was one big ramble and I just have a lot of thoughts and feelings on this, and it just... Also on a completely different note, look at this top, I love it. We bought it like 2 days ago, it's incredibly comfortable, and look, don't grow up, it's a trap. Wow, that really suits this video, hadn't thought about that. Bye!